When I opened my eyes, I figured it was a dream. All I saw was white space. Looking around from the safety of my bed, I watched random items drift around, above and below me. Schools of high school textbooks, clouds of loose papers, a gentle somersaulting of a dresser and a passing window. I leaned away from the edge of the bed, wondering if this was how astronauts felt, way up there in outer space, way out of their depth. All of a sudden, I felt something smack me in the head. Whipping around, I realized the culprit was a wooden pencil, now lazily wandering away from me. A little angry, I flicked it viciously. It spun like a top away from me, hurtling straight into the path of the dresser. The poor pencil bounced off its mirror, bounding off some other direction. I watched as the dresser passed by and noticed my reflection in its mirror. I looked mad for sure, and a little tired too. Dark eye shadows were forming under my eyes. My pajamas were limited to a t-shirt I had worn the past 3 days and PE shorts. I was missing a sock. Before the dresser passed by, I heard a voice come at me from behind it, drawling and arrogant. The dresser slowly revealed the figure of Mr. Top, dressed properly in a black tuxedo and top hat. He elegantly sat back in my desk chair, long legs crossed. He was somehow managing to hover upright, though one small push could have sent him off flying to nowhere. So it would, I replied, grimacing at the sight of him in his polished dresses. Seriously, who needs shoes that sparkly? You here to mess with me again? Mr. Top really liked showing up in my dreams, either to scare the fudge out of me or just pelt me with awful insults. You couldn't even call them insults, they were just facts. Don't look at me like that, Floods is super annoying. Top, I continued before he could say anything back. I'm not in the mood to do that what ho, on guard kind of stuff, so could you just leave me alone? Mr. Top commented as I pulled the covers over me. I closed my eyes and tried to will myself awake, but it wasn't really working. Maybe because I knew that, even if I managed to wake up, it would just be another morning, another tired day. Yeah, if you can call me being an asshole a bad day, I said, opening my eyes. Then a thought occurred to me. Sitting straight up, I squinted at him. He looked a little uncomfortable at my fierce squints. Mr. Top, how do you do it? Be okay with being an asshole? He spluttered, dramatically acting flabbergasted. He even put a hand over his heart in shock, but once he saw I was not amused, he dropped the act. He chuckled at me, shaking his head. Okay, but what if I don't want to be an asshole? I asked. That's not encouraging, I said. He replied. He crooked his head, his eyes brimming with curiosity. So is treat others how you want to be treated, which doesn't exactly support your whole I'm a jerk and I own it attitude. He said, smiling with amusement. Well, you know. I stuttered out. Something? Pretend you do. I scratched the back of my head, huffing. Mr. Top only folded his arms, waiting for an answer. I want to make friends, okay? Go ahead and call me a loser. Mr. Top shrugged his shoulders. He threw himself to the side, narrowly missing a pillow aimed exactly at his head. His chair trolled away while I snickered. He glared at me before assuming his original position, minus the chair. He grouched. I'm not trying to be nice to you, I scoffed. You're different anyways, so it's fine. Mr. Top bristled, looking ready to snap back, but then he stopped. His head tipped to the side, lips crooked with amusement. He had come up with another idea, apparently. Mr. Top leaned forward. There are other fish in the sea. I cut in, rolling my eyes. Mr. Top said, smiling. He raised his hands up as if that was a clear-cut victory. I rubbed my eyes, feeling my heart sink in my chest. All Mr. Top was saying was give up. That if I messed up, then it didn't matter. I wasn't at fault. And that didn't sit right with me. But it's not like I knew how to argue with that. Every time I tried to think about it, every time I tried to talk to her, all I could hear was white noise. All I could think of was static. I went to Mr. because he always had something to say. The good, the bad. If I asked him something, he'd tell me what he thought. But if he had nothing but bad to say, then I had nothing but bad to think.
Yeah, okay,
I said, pulling my knees to my chest. I buried my face in my arms.
better safe than sorry. You said it was impossible. It's fine, let sleeping dogs lie. I get what you mean.
Mr. Top sighed. I peeked up from my arms, curious about Mr. Top's change of heart. He pulled off his top hat and ran a hand through his hair, looking hassled. He said, crossing his arms. He ran a hand through his hair again. Mr. Top trailed off, placing his top hat on his head.
I'll be a prick forever then? Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted to hear.
I said sarcastically. What? Mr. Top rubbed his eyes.
Then why did you say it didn't matter?
I asked. Mr. Top explained.
Could've fooled me.
I grumbled to myself, and then I said it louder. Mr. Top shook his head.
One step too far, Top.
I said.
I wasn't really... Well, I guess I was thinking about that. But I just wanted to know how to start.
Mr. Top said, smiling. Then he frowned. With a look of concern, he pointed at my face. I turned away, trying to cover my eyes.
I just stayed up late, that's all. You know, homework.
You know,
Games. Just thinking about stuff, that's it.
I crossed my arms and squinted at him hard. He raised an eyebrow. We stared at staring contest for a while, me pouting and him smugging. But in the distance, there was a sound of beeping. My alarm for school was going off. Mr. Top said, shaking his head.
Yeah, I get it. Face the music, not the sand. Fists in the sea, burn bridges.
I said, waving my hand.
Your library of idioms never ceases to amaze me.